Hello, my name is Peter and I'm the founder of Projectum, a Microsoft partner for the past 20 years doing project portfolio management and strategy execution. I'm here today because I'm a Microsoft MVP, head of our innovation team, and also very focused on how AI has enabled our customers to get more creative. In today's example, I'm going to present how we can use ChatGPT, also made available through Microsoft, to help our strategy officers create new strategic plans and ideas for initiatives. So let's get started. When I open up my browser here, we can go, of course, into OpenAI. From ChatGPT, we can use 3.5 or 4. Let's just start with 3.5 and paste in one prompt, which I've seen for quite a few times, is quite useful. Act as a strategy officer, so that's the context, in a large global pharma company or something else. Use the OKR framework to break down strategy and supporting initiatives or ideas. I've also been given the task of helping the organization grow online sales in the APAC region by 20% from 2024 to 2025. I also want to create a hierarchy of OKRs, so objectives and key results. So one objective, 3 key results, and ideally also for each key result, 2 initiatives or proposed initiatives we could do. And for each of these initiatives, I then want to have it also estimate the man hours it would take to do the work and the primary role that would be needed to complete the work. And finally, just for the fun, add a relevant emoji and also, if possible, a link to where the project managers who will take over the initiatives work can learn more about the type of initiatives we're about to do. So lots of things happening, but let's just try and hit the push button. And because this is, of course, GPT 3.5, it's pretty fast, but also not necessarily up to speed. But at least it's trying now, as you can see, to create the key results that supports the overall ambitions for growth in APAC. So let's see up here. Increase online sales in APAC. Yes. Key result 1, improve the website conversion rate. That makes sense, by 15%. Here's one initiative that could help you do this, and the effort it might take, and the primary role you should find in that team who is going to execute the work. Also, you could add a link directly through to some website article or case materials where the users can, or the project managers can learn more about it. Now, to take this to the next level, of course, if we go into my Power App, so I have a Power App because I'm a Microsoft partner. In here as well, I have access, of course, to ChatGPT. And there are 2 ways I can sort of manage my work here and get some answers to some questions. One is that I can use sort of a chatbot that we have created, where I can say hi, and then I can sort of control using Power Virtual Agents what the user should be able to do. For instance, creating some data or projects, ideas, and so forth, learn something, or maybe just chat with ChatGPT. So again, I could use this and just quickly paste in the same thing you saw before, hit enter, give it a few seconds, and it's going to use the Azure OpenAI GPT endpoint. So same thing as OpenAI, except it's inside your company's own Azure tenant. So let's see. Here we go. Same thing happens. It tries to create the key results, the initiatives, the effort it takes, and also some links to where you can learn more. So it actually works quite well, also in sort of a chatbot context within my little Power App here. Now, moving away from this, some users also want even more rich experience, ideally using, of course, GPT-4. And for those, of course, you also have the Bing option, where you've probably seen this before, but where you can also go in and essentially paste the same thing as I just did in this window. But this will use ChatGPT-4 out of the box. Also secure, it also says that, because it stays again inside your company account, company tenant. So here you can add, I would say, more confidential content, obviously, than what you could on the OpenAI website. Let's see if it's done soon. This is GPT-4, so probably it will take more time than you saw with GPT 3.5. And here we go. So it starts again with some more rich text because it's a better GPT model. But again, it's essentially the same thing, trying to estimate what it takes to do this, adding some links to where you can learn more. You can also, by the way, go full screen by clicking here, and then you will see it from this view, same thing as you saw before, which is pretty cool. Just give it a few seconds. Here we go. And then you could sort of continue the chat here if you wanted to. So same thing as before. Now, the thing that I want to show, which is probably next level to some, is not so much about the prompting, but where we can use the prompting. So let's move away from ChatGPT and also Bing and back to the Power App. So if you had an application where, for instance, you had your objectives in the tool, let's open this one up, and you wanted to also use prompting and GPT directly inside the application, you could, for instance, click New here. And here in Power PPM, I have preloaded my views here so that the first thing I need to do is simply give it a name. And that could be the same as before. Grow the APAC online sales by 20%, let's say in 2024. And a description as well could be the same thing as this, essentially. Or maybe this is just grow online sales, and then down here you have some more details. Grow the online APAC sales by 20% in 2024. And that's it. Then I could just say, well, this is going to start from now until end of 2024. So this is just Power Apps, Dataverse, Microsoft, just doing its thing. But what I then can do is use ChatGPT as a button or as a toggle, so that if I click here and click yes, it triggers the creation of some supporting text or ideation, so that by only having these two inputs, and if I click refresh, here we go, where I can see increase APAC sales. Ideas to do this is, first of all, do this, then we need to do this. This is the duration, this is the effort it takes, skills, and so forth. More or less the same as before. Now, one thing is doing it as text input, and you can then delete it or use it or not. But the other aspect is maybe you want this text to be created or injected directly into the application. So down here you also see the same key results. Let me just refresh. It probably wasn't done. Like this. And now you have increased, let's just zoom out, online sales by 20% in 24, by 50,000 units, by 2 million. So different examples of OKRs. It's not pretty smart right now because it doesn't have enough context. I think over here we should have added more. But the point is, by having this input, I can get both text and also an output. So essentially created directly inside the application. And then the key result officer or strategy officer can take it from here and build on top. The essence of this is that it all goes down inside Power Automate in Microsoft. This means that if I click edit on my flow, because this is the flow that runs behind the scenes, if I click edit here, you can see how I'm actually building or constructing the automation so that users will end up having just one button. And here, for instance, you can see that every time someone modifies what is called the strategic objectives in Dataverse or Power Apps, if the person says yes to generate something with AI, so that's a true, if that's the case, then I want to create something with GPT. And then here you can see what I've done. I have primed the prompt, so to speak, by adding some text here, which is essentially the prompt, so that the only thing the users have to do is provide a name of the strategy and a description. And obviously we could have added any field we have in the application right here by simply going down and finding all the information available. Who's the owner, start dates, end dates, whatever custom fields we've added to the data we could have pulled in. Once this is done, it should then also JSON format and wrap the output in a certain way with an array and some data buckets, which means essentially that I want to pull out what are the key results. And that is essentially what happens below here, that I take the JSON that is given from the ChatGPT function, and from here creating two buckets, so objectives and key results, so that I can pull out my key results down here, and for each of these create sort of a strategy output down here. There we go. So key results. So first I need to figure out what is the strategic objective where we are creating these things. And then we take the text that was given. So let's go back here to this view. From this text, we then take the key results. So that's the name here. And we use this to create all the rows, so 3 in our case, because we asked for 3 up here. Just a second. Here we go. We asked for 3 key results, so 3. That's why we get 3. If I wanted 4, I would have written 4. So this was the example of how I can, with just one button, have users provide simple input, have the system automate both the GPT text creation, like this, but also converting it into data, and in real time injecting it into your systems if this is something you are up for. Of course, a lot more can be done with what is called the ChatGPT to text or text to ChatGPT function. So this is just one example, and I would expect a lot of more examples to come in the near future. Thank you for watching. This was just 10 minutes. If you want to know more, you can follow me on LinkedIn. My name is Peter Kestenholz. Have a great conference.